Yo, uh, we're here with the swimming. We're gonna work on the swimming thing. So I got a little water room set up. I got a volume set up for all that, and we gotta follow CatlikeCoding's tutorial. I don't have any swimming animations yet, so I'll probably just be falling the whole time I'm swimming, but whatever. I did get the climbing animations somewhat working from yesterday. So you can see, she climbs up, down, right, left. But there's just problems with like dismounting, and like that just looks awkward. And then this especially, this is like really jank. So it needs work, but it's functional. So I'll probably do a similar thing after we get the swimming done. I'll just I'll make some temporary swimming animations and see where we go from there. And then Connor, you had some shader stuff you got done. If you wanna,
Yeah, it's
hold on, I
not
actually don't
complete,
have it on screen yet. I just
but
realized I don't have you on screen.
I was just messing
Okay.
with transparency in URP, basically. That's all I got. So I got somewhat of a okay ice shader that has a lot of configurations.
And the frost of it really only shows up close. I didn't see it at first when you first showed
Yeah.
me.
It
But
has
once
to
you got up
do,
close, it looked a lot better.
the big problem, I guess, has to do with just the way Unity deals with transparency at a distance,
Hmm.
because it uses its distance as its like decider, I guess, for the priority of stuff in rendering, which is good. I mean, like in general, farther stuff away, you don't want to render like in high detail because
It's
it
kind of
makes
like
no difference.
like a level of detail thing.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that it treats transparency as a detail
Hmm.
when some of the fix that I found is just turning opacity up higher so that there's like the problem is like the precision between like how transparent a pixel should be. And like up close, it makes sense to do because it's like this doesn't make a difference really with transparency. It makes a difference just with color. But like back here, it just is like, yeah, that's transparent and that's transparent.
Is that
Like,
something you could like tie to the like camera's distance or something like that? Or is that just
uh,
excessive?
kind of, but it seems like it's impossible to well, so that's kind of what you do. That idea of rendering to a render texture and then having a camera focus just on the render texture.
Hmm.
Because you the way URP is set up, you need to like, I get you well, I guess you can actually fix the opacity that way. That's part of, I think, like some of the stuff I just haven't done yet. But when it comes to like that back face culling or the like the whole thing of like ice refracting light, you would have to you'd have to use that render texture thing. And if you do that, then you might as well also use that for opacity.
That makes sense.
So it's kind of just waiting
And you have that
until
thing
I
of
got that
like
part done.
where the a transparent thing you look through on one side, and then the transparent effect like stacks with itself, so it like looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
But that's just like an ever-present thing with like transparent 3D models, I feel like.
Yeah, but if you notice, like this object has this like silhouette right here just on this side,
Yeah.
and you can see it on this side as well.
Oh,
In other words, I figured out the double-sided thing.
very nice. Okay.
It's very easy, actually. It's just a check mark. It's just specific to graph shader or shader graph.
So when we do eventually have our own like unlit shader we're using, it's just a matter of checking that if we want it.
Yeah,
And can we
if we're
make it for
using
one
universal.
specific material?
Yeah.
Very
Or
nice.
no, you
Like it
for
wouldn't
one
have to be
specific
for
shader.
everything.
It would be for a specific shader. So you'd have one shader that does it and one shader that does something else.
Okay.
The way I'm splitting up, like right now, I've the thing with like the dithering up close. Um, like I'm kind of splitting it up into like character versus environment shaders because I feel like the character shader would be different
That's
just
true, yeah.
by virtue of like dealing with light differently and stuff. Unity bakes a lot of light. That's like been very frustrating to like learn how like getting to a point where I was like, oh, I'd have to now figure out how to use the URP or else I'm never going to be able to get past this problem. So I learned a lot today. I started working at 9
Very
and just
nice.
didn't stop.
Yeah, I took today as a bit more of a chill day. I haven't really done a ton. I just did
That's
some.
good.
I did some balance on, like I made the jump instantaneous on while you're moving, and then while you're stationary, the jump has like a much lesser delay. And I also did some cleanup on the falling animation, and just like the weight painting on her chest area, because I noticed like the chest plate was clipping through in some places. But yeah, other than that, this is like I'm just not getting started. So good.
Nice.
All right, all right. Let's get started. So we'll probably just set the foundations down for swimming right now. I doubt we'll get super far into it, especially if it's like if it becomes like a really complicated one. We'll see though.
Yeah, I could see us getting to swimming and stopping.
Well, reactive environment to me is huge. Oh wait, is
Wait,
swimming a
no.
section within swimming?
Oh yeah, that's weird actually.
Okay. But yeah, I could see us getting to reactive environment and stopping because rolling. Once we get to rolling, like I guess
I
we
feel
should
like
still
rolling
do
is
it.
gonna be to me, rolling plays into that idea that I had of like the character controller that's like that derives its movement from the sphere.
It's just weird that like at the beginning he made it so he specifically made it so that the sphere does not rotate. It's like a fixed thing. And then here he makes it so that it animates as if it's rotating, but it's not really rotating. And it's like, why not just make it actually rotate? I guess I'm sure there's a reason for it, but it just feels like a weird
I
thing.
think it's yeah. I think it's just to like separate things. Like I don't know. I feel like it's a really strong power within a game engine to be able to take a sphere and like roll it around but not have it roll
Yeah,
and
and
just
it
like
looks like
take
it's rolling.
rotation out of the equation.
Because then you have, I guess the
It's
thing is
simpler.
so that you can have this really good character controller too.
Yeah.
You have all these great like benefits. But yeah,
I
we
think
should do
rolling plays
rolling.
into
I definitely don't think we should skip it, but I feel like I might have to
yeah.
go back to a ball for that. You know, like it's gonna be
That's
pointless
true.
for
Yeah.
me.
It completely alienates the character part of it.
Maybe I just put
I
a I do monkey ball. I just put a sphere over
yeah,
my
yeah.
character, and then she just rolls inside of it.
Yeah.
That might be what I do. We'll see when we get to it. But to me, reactive environment is like the next big one. That's like that was one of the ones that I was like really excited about.
Mhm.
Swimming is really cool too.
Well, within the swimming tutorial, section 3 is actually called swimming.
Okay, so I see
And
what you mean now.
before that we just deal with buoyancy and that sort of stuff.
Okay, so that'll just be like us just getting forced upwards, basically, just
Yeah,
applying a force on us.
I think the idea is like we're gonna add similar to climbing, we're adding a swimming like movement state.
I remember in Unreal when I set up a water thing, there was something about like an integral. I remember an integral being used with like in respects to like as you get further to the bottom, like the force is applied stronger or something like that.
Yeah,
That that's
the the pressure.
that's pretty interesting. I remember that being like a really satisfying moment of like, oh, calculus. It's not. It's all. It's all real. It's applicable. It wasn't just made up. You know.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't remember it now. So. All right. This is the 9th installment of a tutorial series about controlling the movement of a character. It makes it possible to float in and move around through water. We're going to detect water volumes, apply drag and buoyancy, swim through the water, including up and down, and make objects float. Let's go! I'm very glad he added that. That was something I was like worrying about. Lots of games contain water, and it's often swimmable. However, there is no out-of-the-box solution for interactive water. PhysX doesn't support it directly, so we have to create an approximation of water ourselves.
Bing. Name a game where you die in water.
I can't think.
I can't think of a single one, but I know there's so
many. Hold on, I need to like...
Dark Souls. Do you? You can walk you can walk in some water, but you can't swim.
Sekiro has such good swimming controls.
Yeah.
When I went back and played that, I was just like, oh my god, like, this is like the master class of swimming.
Did you fight anything under
the headless
water?
Underwater?
Yeah,
I haven't beat him yet.
Me neither.
I tried a few times. Okay,
it's
what the
optional.
Fuck? What are underwater games that have like fake water that are just kill planes because they couldn't figure out water?
Like Bloom. Or the worst is when you just step on the water and then you like just spin around and fall down on the ground. Like it's just a kill plane.
I'm so mad that like can't think of that. What the fuck?
I thought like there's so many games like that and then I couldn't think of a single one.
I feel like if I just look through my catalog, I'll find something, but I also don't want to spend too long on this because it's just like a hypothetical.
The first row, no, they all deal with water fine. Actually, wait, Hurt World, can you die in? Well, I don't.
Oh yeah, I think the water. I don't think you can swim. I think that what they did is the water was like radioactive.
No, I remember you can. I abused it constantly. It's a cold thing. The water is like super cold compared to like rust.
Okay.
But if with cold gear you can do it.
That's also. I mean, also it's gone through a ton of changes, so I don't. Like,
yeah, they had boats. They added boats. I'm pretty sure.
All of these games handle water fine. I think this water's fine. Water. I think Fallout 4
Skyrim
doesn't address water like at all. I think you can swim in Skyrim. I think, right?
I don't remember. I don't remember dying in water.
I feel like you can swim in Skyrim. GTA, you can definitely swim. Dark Souls. I don't think you can swim in Dark Souls, but I think
there's no
they
like
just
lakes
don't,
that you just can't die from. They're much higher.
I think the water that you go in is like ankle deep, you know?
Yeah.
Fallout is a similar situation. Metal Gear, you're in a desert that whole game. Fuck, man. There's got to be at least one. I don't think Hollow Knight even like ever addresses that water exists. Oh no, it rains. Whatever. GTA San Andreas, yeah, you can swim in that.
Oh, it's a whole trope on TV tropes.
Well,
called
that's
super
gonna
drowning
be
skills.
That's gonna be the real resource. You're just gonna say games. I'm gonna go, oh, that one.
Yeah, exactly. But luckily, they're all in folders, so I have not. So we can actually break them up into.
Oh my god! Do platformers. Let's just do like platformers.
Captain Silver. Wonder Boy. Oh, Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot.
That's a big one. Yep. Damn it.
That's what I was.
Fuck.
I guess in Super Mario Bros. As well. They say.
Croc.
Oh
man.
Oh yeah, Frogger. Duh. Fucking duh. The original Frogger.
Yeah.
You jump on the logs. Sly Cooper, Sonic. Sonic, you
Sonic.
can't swim.
I guess so, yeah.
I know you can. I mean, in the original ones, you can go in like the
Oh,
tubes.
Spider-Man for the PS2. Spider-Man 2. I remember that one. Damn it.
Rayman 2.
La Mulana?
I never played that.
It's pretty cool.
Water sucks away at your health bar. The Simpsons game. Not hit and run. The Simpsons game. Back to work. Back to work. We
Damn,
learned.
I'm mad I
It was
didn't think of
Crash. We were thinking of Crash though.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Crash at least of the yeah. And he like doesn't he spin around? Well, no. A lot of times he goes in and becomes an ice cube.
That's
the
true,
snow ones.
yeah.
That's a great animation.
Whoa!
That could be a cool jam once we do some animation jams, like contextual death animations.
If it isn't Crash,
I had a Deborah gave me such a good idea for a jam. We should eventually, like, once we're like we need a break from game dev shit, we should do an animation jam where we both have to make bowling alley like strike screens.
Oh yeah, he asked me today if we were gonna do that.
I love that idea. I want to do that so
great.
bad.
Are you familiar with like Trog games visuals? Like when I say
No.
Trog games,
Well,
does that ring a bell?
actually, I remember the car slamming against the wall in the in the game clam thing was listed as a Trog game. That's all I remember.
Trog games is just like the do you remember like the orb, or have you ever seen his like juggler?
His juggler.
Where it's it's like a guy made out of just circles and then he's juggling something in like a flat
I think
plane.
I have actually. Yeah.
That's another example. He has a bunch of visuals like that I think he made in Blender that are just like meant to be like the like 90s style, like early 90s style visuals.
Balls 3D.
Yeah, like Balls 3D and just like the checkerboard pattern and like just show anything that shows off reflection in a tech demo sort of way.
Yeah, checkerboard patterns are so outdated.
Is that a texture you use or
It's just a built-in thing that I just colored. I don't know why. There's just a default checkerboard and I just made tints of it.
Oh, nice.
Okay. The water surface is made from a single-sided flat mesh that that has semi-transparent blue material. They're visible from above but not below. The the water's volume has to be described with colliders set to be triggers. I've used box colliders without a mesh for most of the volume, scaled slightly larger than needed so there won't be any gaps in the water. A few places required much more complex Pro Builder meshes to fit the volume. Those have to be set to triggers as well, which can be done via the set trigger option in the Pro Builder window. Note that mesh colliders that are triggers have to be convex. A concave mesh automatically generates a convex version that wraps it, but that can lead to places where it pokes out of the desired water volume. An example of this is the curving water bridge, which I made a simplified convex collider. So he had like the overall plane, and then he did the complicated stuff for like little specific areas. I'm starting to think that my little tiny fucking hole in the ground isn't going to be the best testing thing now, because I want to like throw shit into it. But whatever. I'll make a bigger.
Just gotta set
later.
up a little station down there as well.
I was thinking of I could just fill this whole area with water. Like, that might be interesting.
That's true.
Maybe that's what I'll pivot it to. Whatever.
I turned the climbing speed way up, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I doubled mine, but I didn't. But what do you have?
I forget.
yours
Does that
at?
mess? I don't even know. But
You got to change your climb acceleration too.
that's right, because it messes with the corners.
Yeah.
That's the thing I didn't care about really.
Which is why when I realized that's why weird shit happens when I try to climb on a rigid body, which is dumb and shouldn't be an option anyway, so it won't be. It doesn't matter. But I'm just applying a force to it. I'm applying the climb animation, you know, it applies a force on
Yeah.
you against the wall. If I try to climb on a rigid body, it just does that same thing. So I just go flying.
Oh, that's what happens.
So I just go, wah. It's really silly. All I'm doing is climbing. I'm not pushing forward at all in those cases. So if you do that, where you you turn out your climb acceleration really high, that makes this shit even more like powerful. Like if I could just do that right now actually. If I just turn our climb acceleration all the way up, and then I try to grab onto something, wah, I just went flying. But yeah, okay. The water, ignoring trigger collider. Actually, wait. First, I need to make it. How did you make this plane not like have collision? What do I do for that? Just turn off the collider.
Yeah, just remove it. Actually, wait, you know what? How did I do that? Oh, convex and is trigger, and then it shouldn't.
Oh, that's right. You did it different. So you made a box and applied the water texture to it, and then set that box as the trigger.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What
I have a
what he
plane,
did,
and then I have a trigger
yeah.
underneath the plane.
So he did basically what I did, except he made just the surface plane, and then he made just a box to fit it. You could do game object add box collider, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay. So then
I
yeah,
thought
then
I
you
did the
just
same thing as him. Hold on. So he has the water surface, which is the plane, and then he has these colliders underneath, right? As two separate
yeah,
things. I thought yours was one thing.
mine is.
So isn't yours different then?
Yeah, it is different.
Oh, okay. I thought you just said you did the same thing as him.
Uh yeah, I in the sense of like set trigger. I he didn't have to like uh what I was gonna say is that he for pro builder stuff, like for the more complicated things, like all the yellow things in that picture,
Yeah.
he made it in pro builder and then did set trigger in pro builder.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Ignoring trigger colliders. All the water volume objects are on the water layer, which should be excluded from all layer masks
Oh,
of
I
both the
didn't do
water
that.
sphere and the orbit camera. I didn't do that either.
Good call.
All water volume objects. That means the plane and the volume, or I guess just the volume.
Just the volume probably.
And then water is already a pre-existing layer, thankfully.
I guess you probably would do both because I learned today that like layers uh are used for rendering as well. So later on, if
Mm.
you wanted to just access all the water layers in a with a shader somehow, or with the in the URP, you could just say water.
I'll set it to that for now and see what happens. See if it causes any trouble. Probably not. Um. Okay. Um. All the water volume objects are on the water layer, which should be excluded from all layer masks of both the moving sphere and the orbit camera. I guess I should check that too. Water should be excluded from all layer masks of both the sphere and the camera. What does that actually mean, though? I guess agent and camera ignore.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. I guess that makes sense, yeah. Well, actually, shouldn't I set it to camera ignore? Is that how that works? I guess that's
Um,
confusing me. Let me see if that even.
maybe.
Oh, it does. It already does it. So I guess by
Oh,
just
okay.
removing it here, it does the same thing as if I had just added it to the camera ignore layer, but I don't have to like lose the other one or whatever. I don't know.
So take water out of agent.
Take agent out of water
Mm.
and camera ignore out of water. which is a little confusing, but it seems to have worked. So I think it's the right thing. Yeah, look at that. I have water. I could swim around in my water.
Okay.
Even then, in general, the two physics queries that we currently have are meant for regular colliders only, not triggers. Whether triggers are detected can be configured via the physics query's hit trigger project setting, but we never want to detect triggers with the code what we have right now, so let's make that explicit, regardless of the project setting. Huh? I don't get it.
Wait, what don't you get?
Why don't we want hit triggers to trigger? Isn't that why we made it a trigger?
No. I think it's it made sense to me when I first read it, so I'm just gonna read it again. All of our volume objects are on the water layer, which should be excluded from all layer masks. I think it's so other raycasts don't treat it as. I don't know, actually. I don't know why it made sense to me the first time around. Oh, we add it to specific raycasts, yeah. We add it to snap to ground because you wouldn't use water in snap to ground, and you wouldn't use water in the camera box cast that we use. So we're just doing it in these two so that water doesn't interrupt
And the other
right.
triggers.
Yeah, both of these are projecting. Both of these are raycasts that are used for like projection for different things.
Okay.
I guess it maybe it would like you might snap to the sphere collider or something, or you might cause misfires of some kind. I don't really know. But I get it purely from like a safety standpoint. Like if you don't know, just like make them ignore it.
I suppose that makes sense, yeah. Just like a safe kind of option. Okay. Well, plop that in there then. This is within the snap to ground, you said? Yeah.
Yeah, and in orbit camera.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Snap to ground within the raycast. Okay.
This actually answers a question that I feel like I've always kind of had but didn't care about. Like what are they called? Not override. Maybe it is override.
Overloads?
Overloads, yeah. This is one of the overloads, is that query trigger. But there's always like another version that we've used.
I always get it confused with overflow because Stack Overflow. I'm not sure if it's overflow or overload. Operator overloaders. Operator overloads. Operator overflow. I think it's overload. Whatever. Orbit camera. And then this is in late update. Obstruction mask. Bam. Okay. We can now move through the water as if it doesn't exist. Shit, I could already do that. Okay, I hope I didn't fuck something up. I was already able to do that.
Maybe you're supposed to keep the collider on.
I'll turn it back on.
I don't think it. I think it's the exact same thing. Oh, it's saying as if it doesn't exist, as in, I bet, like, maybe just take those off and see what it's like.
Well, I put the collider back on the plane, and I can still clip through it. So if I make it convex. Oh yeah, it does. It fucks with the camera. Weird. I hope that doesn't cause any trouble.
He says, in general, the two physics queries that we currently have are meant for regular colliders only, not triggers. So I think when he means we can move through the water as if it doesn't exist, it it means like the water doesn't trigger anything.
Okay. Alright, well, just carry on with this. I guess I know where to start if I start having weird problems.
I added this one line though, and now I'm getting a missing parentheses somewhere.
In orbit camera?
No, in snap to ground.
There should be two closing parentheses, right? After ignore.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I just redid it and it was fine. So I don't know what I did before.
Yeah, sometimes it could just be weird like that. Okay, we can now move through the water as if it doesn't exist, but to support swimming, we must detect it. We'll do that by checking whether we're inside a trigger zone that's on the water layer. Begin by adding a water mask to moving sphere along with a swimming material that we'll use to show that it's in the water. Okay, well, I'm not going to do the material thing. I'll just make the light change, but whatever. Same idea. Have you been doing that? Yeah, you have, because you did that glowing blue. I remember the cyan.
I guess I just have to type these in twice every time. No, that's weird. Did you get a thing in Boxcast?
Like an error?
Yeah.
No, I was able to just plop it in there. So there should be two closing parentheses and then an open bracket after on query trigger or query trigger ignore or whatever.
Oh, wait. Are there multiple Boxcasts? No.
The one at late update, right?
Yeah.
Let me see what yours looks like again.
Mine doesn't even have the mask on it. That's probably why.
Wait,
Wait,
what?
what? Mine doesn't have a obstruction mask. Oh, because mine doesn't. I never made that.
You missed that section or something?
Yeah, but even then, like,
So it's probably just one too many parentheses then, right? Or no, wait.
now it's.
Open box.
I think it's just the placement. You can't put the trigger interaction ignore without a mask on it.
Oh.
So I just need to add a mask. Could I just see what yours? If you just search obstruction mask with the like.
Okay, well here's the definition in orbit camera.
Okay, that's all I need. It's just -1.
You don't need to see any of these in moving camera or whatever, or moving sphere. Moving ball.
not for now. I'll get it working. I
Okay.
don't need to get it like fully working. I just need to put a generic
You'll
mask
get
on
caught
it.
up later.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now I have water mask. Right? Yeah. What do we set on the water mask? Oh, just water, I guess. See, I was thinking, I feel like I should flip the unclimbable to just be climbable. So that way you have to manually select something to be climbable. Because it's like annoying that everything
Yeah.
defaults to being climbable and I have to go and manually set it.
Yeah, I would be down to make that change.
Seems like kind of a weird oversight, but whatever.
I mean, that's just a game design choice. That's like the same thing as him making the movement slower whenever you press climb.
Yeah. Oh, which by the way, I set that up to replace my walk. So
Oh,
now
nice.
my walking, slow walking mode and my climbing are the same button.
I realized it. I do like it because it has a very similar
You
effect
like
to
what?
the. I do like the fact that like shift slows you down a little bit because it has like a compound effect with the climbing that's similar to like Minecraft holding shift. Like if
I
I'm
immediately rebind that in Minecraft. I put that to control.
oh oh
But yeah,
nice
still. Just because shift is
the
sprint. Like in my brain, shift can't be anything but sprint. It's like set in stone.
yeah,
But
like
yeah.
if I'm afraid of going over the edge, I can like hold shift and I'm still on the edge.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That's kind of nice. Kind of cling to it.
Yeah, it's more helpful over here, but that or at least I noticed it over there. Um
It's assuming what you're on is climbable, though, but yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh
Do you have the water mask now?
oh, does he say why water mask is 0?
Uh, no, actually.
No.
Weird.
I forget
I
why.
don't
I
know what
forget
that
what.
number means.
Yeah, I forget what. Well,
I would
I
imagine it's
set it to
probably
negative
some
one.
sort of toggle of like 0, 1, or -1 to be like it's this mode, or this mode. But yeah, you have it set up. Can we,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Alright.
then we just do a get set for water
Add an
or a,
in water property that indicates whether the sphere is in the water. We'll initially make this a simple get set property that we reset to false in clear state. What does
I
that
had to learn
mean?
about this a little bit. Um, and I could basically it's just it was I think I said it before of like a property is basically uh it like it's read and write. It's if you use get set, it's a really easy way of creating a read write property. So basically you like have the boolean in water and it gets the last one that it has and then sets what it was to what it currently is. So it's like an update almost for booleans.
Huh. So, I mean, is there supposed to be something in the get, like after the get? So it's like get this and set it to this? Or, like, what does get
Uh
set mean? Just putting it like that?
it basically makes it so that you like like the next thing he writes in water, he he sets it to false so that Boolean in water is defined by itself basically, so that you can just write false and it'll be set to false. Like using in water gets in water and sets in water in the same invocation.
So
Like
like
your
every time the
Boolean,
boolean's used, it's updated.
yeah, exactly. That's a perfect way to say it. Boolean in water is a function that just gets Boolean in water and then sets Boolean in water.
Hmm. I guess I could see a few cases of that being helpful. So is it any different than just putting it in like update or whatever though? So just constantly being updated? I guess it's just
Yeah,
only when it's
it's
referred to.
only when it's referred to, yeah. Um, it's if someday we can go over the that one slicing mesh project that I
Did it
have.
apply to that?
Yeah, the way the guy wrote his shit is like completely within like the property using properties is like its own style that we have not used yet at all. But we're using it right now for the first time, it seems like.
Very nice.
It's like a whole it's like a whole weapon arts branch.
It seems like that's something that's like I would want to use that for like every boolean now. You know,
Yeah.
like it seems like a good performance boost. That might be an optimization thing. Use the property to set the swimming material and update if we aren't climbing. Okay, so that's you're gonna do that, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna set it kind of differently, but I have like a light. There we go. I'm just gonna replace the color from on steep because on steep is kind of redundant right now with my with the climbing thing. I kind of just turned off while running. So if you're on the ground, you're red. If you're climbing, you're white. If you're in water, you're green. If you're in the air, you're blue. I guess I should swap those. If you're in the air, you're green. If you're in water, you're blue. Finally, detecting the water is done by adding an on-trigger enter and on-trigger stay methods. They work like on-collision enter and on-collision stay, except that they're for colliders and have a collider parameter instead of a collision. Both methods should check whether the collider is on the water layer, and if so, set is swimming to true. Okay, this is up more up the alley of what I'm used to. Okay, so let's see if my light works. I also should probably move my character down near the water so I don't have to run this whole way every time. Oh no. Shit, it's not working. Fuck.
Oh, I put swimming in.
What?
Damn it. I wrote swimming
Oh.
and I just couldn't see it. So you did the on trigger enter, on trigger stay parts, and it doesn't work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, what is that's in moving sphere, right?
Yeah. I'll probably have the same issue.
I guess let me
Probably
know.
just, I assume it has something to do with the trigger volume because I did that blind. Oh, I have to make a swimming material.
Make sure I didn't mess up any of my logic, I guess.
Oh, the water mask probably has to just get water, right?
That's what mine is set to.
Could it be the opposite? Could it be?
That's how it is on his. He has it just to water.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
Does it work for
Wait,
you?
is that a tint or? Yeah, that has to be a tint. That just tricked me. But yeah, the water material isn't changing.
Hmm.
He showed his, yeah, the water mask. Um, Probably has to do with the trigger. So let's not rely on the material and we'll just do a print on trigger enter.
I wonder if we weren't supposed to mess with the matrix. I'm gonna turn I'm gonna undo everything I did on the matrix. See if that changes anything. Oh, I think it. Oh, it did it actually. That was it.
What did you change? What do you mean matrix?
The layer collision matrix in your
Oh,
physics.
oh, yeah.
I don't think we were supposed to mess with that.
Oh, okay.
So I just put water back to applying to agent and camera ignore. So I think that might be why he was just then able to walk through everything, you know?
Ah,
The only problem is, I guess it's not really a problem, but for me, on ground is the default. I should have. So that means even when I'm underwater, if I'm standing on the ground still, it still is red. So I need to move in water up on like the priority, I think.
yeah, it works. I have become water.
Oh wait, you become the water material?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You like blend in. Yeah, there we go. Now I just stay blue as long as I'm underwater. The water one has priority. Okay. I mean, the only problem is I feel like I'm gonna go right here. My toes are gonna jump in, and she's just gonna start swimming. That's like for sure gonna happen.
Oh, if you're climbing underwater, it turns it off.
It turns
There's no
off the light.
it turns off the water material because I'm in
Oh yeah,
climbing
yeah.
state now. It's because there's no like hybrid climbing underwater state.
See, I put the water one as a higher priority than the climbing one. So if I'm climbing, I guess it really
How,
is arbitrary what the priority is.
how'd you do that though?
I just have if on water, if in water is the very first thing, and then it's else if on ground, else if climbing, else if
Oh, okay.
I can delete that, and then it's else if in the air. So I have in water as the number one priority right now.
Is the dithering in the water like perceivable over Discord? It's really small.
Oh wait, on the
Here, I'll
water?
on the water and the ball. I'll get the camera really close. It's as big as you're gonna get it. It's screen space dithering actually, so it's
Oh, like so the stuff behind the ball is being dithered?
yeah, you can kind of see it in the white, at least on my screen,
I
but
can
I
kind of
figure
see
the
it,
bitrate
yeah.
probably wouldn't.
It is subtle, but I can kind of see it.
Well, cool. This works.
Can't touch the water, the floor is lava.
Let's get to swimming.
Is that next?
No, submergence is next.
Okay. Knowing whether our sphere intersects a water volume isn't enough to make it swim or float properly. We need to know how much of it is submerged. Then we can use that to calculate drag and buoyancy. Okay. So that's something I also wanted to keep in, like, consider is like, because right now, if I just have my toe go against a little ledge, it considers me on the wall, so I can go into climbing state, even though I'm just like barely.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should be some sort of check if it's like, if like 80% of your collider is colliding with it, then count it or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how I would do that. But I wonder if this is going to give me some clues. Probably not. So we're just removing the get set shit now? What?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's add a submergence float field to keep track of the sphere's submergence state. A value of 0 represents no water is touched, where a value of 1 means it's completely underwater. Then change in water so it simply returns whether the submergence is positive. Set it back to 0 in clear state. Okay.
This it makes sense why we're not like this isn't a property being in water. It's like variable constantly. It's not like a property of the ball, whether or not like you know what I like usually what happens with like properties a property would be more like I mean just like mass, for example, I guess. Like all our serialized fields could be properties.
Hmm.
I'll we'll go through that how that one guy wrote his code. It makes more sense after a little dive into that, I think. Because he has a lot of stuff where he like just has to keep track of whether something is doing something or not.
Why is in water giving me errors now? I guess you have to change it anyways. Oh, because it's read only now. Weird. Change the triggered methods so they now invoke a new evaluate submerge method, which simply sets submergence to 1 for now. So it'll effectively be the same thing where it's just saying like, yes, you're submerged.
I assume we're gonna use the submergence later.
Yeah. So later it'll be actually like percentage of you that's. I feel like that might get weird too because it's a ball and I'm a cylinder. Or, I mean, I'm a capsule.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll make the submergence range configurable. That way we can precisely control when our sphere counts as being in the water and when it's fully submerged. We measure this from a point offset above the sphere's center, straight down to the maximum range. This would make it possible to count as fully submerged before the entire sphere is inside the zone, or to ignore low water elevations like puddles entirely, even though we're touching the water. Okay. So I don't know, it seems like it's just distances that are all configurable. So I think just my distances will be different than your guys's. We'll see. Make the offset and range configurable. Use 0.5 and 1 for the defaults, matching the shape of our radius 0.5 sphere. The range should be positive. Okay. Matching the shape of our radius 0.5 sphere. So I guess I should find out what the height of my capsule is and then match that. How the fuck do I get that?
Let me think.
Oh, right here. Height 0.043. Yours was 0.05? Or no, 0.5. Why is mine so small? The hell?
Did you scale it down a lot or something? Like maybe our scales are way different.
Oh, my scale is 70. Why is the scale 70? Jesus. I scaled it up. So I guess I had to make it way smaller to compensate. Fuck, what is the math on that? Should I like multiply it by 70 or something?
Yeah, just do that. I bet that is it. And if it's not, maybe it's half that.
I mean, then I'm at 3, which I guess makes sense. If a sphere is. And he said that was the radius or the height?
The
radius.
offset.
The radius is 0.5 as well, though, he said. So one sphere. So I'm like 3 spheres tall. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Okay. Whatever. So my offset. Make the offset and range configurable. Use 0.5 and 1 for the defaults, matching the shape of our radius 0.5 sphere. Meaning mine should be 1.5 and 3. Right?
Probably.
We'll find out.
Yeah, you might just have to mess with those values if we can't figure out the actual math for it.
All right. We now have to perform a ray cast and evaluate submergence from the offset point straight down to the submergence range using the water mask. In this case, we do want to hit the water, so query that. The submergence is then equal to 1 minus the hit distance divided by the range. So, a raycast from the offset point, which is half, it's at the center of your thing.
Hold on, I gotta catch up.
Okay.
Submergence offset. Okay. We now have to perform a raycast and evaluate from the offset point straight down to the submergence range using the water mask. So I think the point is that you would be casting down. So what he's doing is he's like putting a spot in the middle, which is like where it counts as being submerged. So you would have just a generic. You'd have to like what he's doing is making it configurable for the circle. But you would just do specific values, I think, unless
I
we can
could
figure
create
out.
empties, I suppose. Like have an empty halfway through her that says like submerge point, and then an empty on the top of her head that's like tip, whatever. I'm gonna keep following this as best I can, but
The R, I just realized the R he's using is not radius, it's range, which is diameter.
he does say radius here, matching the shape of our radius 0.5 sphere. So that's where the 0.5 comes from, is the radius.
Yeah, the offset. He's doing it so that the offset is like one radius above the bottom so that it's right at the center. He's saying just like that center point is where submergence matters or is going to matter.
Okay.
But range is where submergence is actually being counted. So
So it
what
seems
he's
like
doing,
it should be fine that I'm using a capsule then.
yeah, it's just that you have to take that top point, that offset, and raycast down to the center point. So I think you have to define those a little differently. but your goal is to raycast directly down from the head.
Which would be the submergence range, basically the top.
Yeah.
Which should, I mean, that should be fine then, because my 3
Yeah.
is. We'll see. Um. Okay. So let's plug that in to evaluate submerge then. Let's see what we end up with. So we raycast from body position plus the up axis times the submergence offset.
So it's the offset times that axis. So it just like takes your original position and adds a vector in the direction of up.
And then multiplies it by that offset to put it at like the
Yeah.
top of your head.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be addition, I guess? I don't know, whatever.
No, that's the whole thing of the like normalized axis shows the direction and then multiplying it shows how far to go.
Okay. And then the negative up axis, that's the direction the cast is going, right?
Yeah.
And then out raycast hit is the result of like what the thing that was hit is, and then submergence range.
That's the max distance.
Oh, okay. And then water mask, it checks if it's within that mask. And then this is saying, oh no, water mask, and then we're allowing it to collide with only the water mask, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. Oh, and then, yeah, and then this I understand. That's just getting it to be actually how submerged we are. And
Yeah.
then to test the submergence value, simply use it to temporarily color the sphere. So I guess I can copy this for my light. Load up blue times submergence, I suppose. Is how I would do that.
Right now, I guess we have it as incorrect. He says this works up to the moment that our sphere becomes completely submerged, because from then on, we're casting from a point that's already inside the water collider. So the raycast fails to hit it. But that means we're fully submerged, so we can just set submergence to 1 when we don't hit anything.
Oh yeah, you can see that happening if you look at see right here on my color.
Yeah.
You can watch it slowly turn blue, and then once I get fully submerged, it turns back to red.
Yeah.
So you can observe that this is actually like, damn, that's great. That's actually like completely working. Very nice. Okay. So then he adds in the check for once you're fully submerged. So if you're not hitting anything, then your submergence is 1, which is, I guess I need to think about that.
It's all I thought of it like that seems really generic, but I think it's only because we're doing evaluate submergence, which we only do.
Oh, okay. So it's
On
an
collision with
else
the water.
under the raycast. Yeah, okay. So it's only firing if you're in the water already. So if you're
Yeah.
in the water and your raycast is nothing, then you can assume it's 100% submerged. That makes perfect sense. Damn, this is very smart. That's so cool.
However, that might cause an invalid submergence of 1 when moving out of the water due to the delay with which the collision and also the trigger methods get invoked, as the body position is different from when the trigger was detected by. Oh, okay. So it like we might move past where we already shot. Like we might do the raycast and then have moved past that point by the time we get the data.
So, what is the fix?
We can guard against that by increasing the length of the ray by 1 unit.
Not bad. Okay. Simple fix.
Yeah, just make it a little longer.
Make that submergence range, give that a little +1.
Ding.
Because yeah, I'm glad we're getting this ironed out too, because I definitely want swimming to be a thing in Mall King. This is so sick. So then, uh, based on this buoyance or submergence thing, we can apply an upward force that's dependent on that as well. So I think what I was doing before is it was just like, how close are you to this thing? But like they're being like hardcore, so you could go up to your waist in water and like still have like that little bit of upward force. Like that's weird.
Yeah. Oh, and the next step's gonna be extra cool, I feel like, with that specific, like the fact that you can go like just feet in.
Now we can get rid of the submergence visualization. I don't know. It's
The
not
part
that
after
cool.
that, water drag.
Movement in water is more sluggish than on land because the water causes much greater drag than air. So acceleration is noticeably slower while deceleration is faster. Huh. Oh, I guess, yeah, never mind. I thought that was more complex than it. Okay. Let's add support for this and make it configurable by adding a water drag option set to 1 by default. A range from 0 to 10 is fine, as 10 will cause massive drag. See, this is something I was excited about this tutorial, because I feel like this is also how we would set up the logic for like an ice area, you know what I mean, or like even like a vehicle, where it's like something on the like some sort of trigger that changes the variable, like the values of your movement state, you know.
Yeah. So we're just adding a line in fixed update. That's new. I haven't done that in a
Yeah, we
while.
have not added a fixed update in a while. I tried to put my rotation fixer thing in fixed update for a little bit because I was thinking like it's a rigid body being rotated, so maybe.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It made it like broke the whole thing. It was super fucked. We'll use a simple linear damping, similar to what physics does. We scale the velocity by 1 minus the drag multiplied with the time delta. Do this in fixed update before invoking adjust velocity. We'll apply drag to do some acceleration as always possible. So actually, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be like while you're in the water, set this value of like acceleration to lower or whatever.
Yeah.
This is like smarter than I thought.
Yeah, I think I don't totally remember adjust velocity, like what it specifically does.
I think it just calculates what your velocity is based on like you have your desired velocity, but then there's other things that are like outside affecting what your velocity actually will be. So it just takes desired velocity and then puts it through all those hoops and then gives you your actual velocity. Note that this means that if the water drag is equal to 1 divided by the fixed time step, that velocity drops to 0 in a single physics step. Velocity would reverse if it were greater instead. As we set the maximum to 10, this won't be an issue. To be safe, you could make sure that the velocity is scaled by at least 0. Does that mean we could set up a water plane that just launches you out if we put it to negative?
I guess, yeah.
I wonder if that's how they did the lava in Mario 64. You just like, ah, whoa, 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 like jump, bounce on top of it. Probably not.
Yeah, maybe.
But okay, if we're not completely submerged, then we shouldn't experience a maximum drag. So factor submergence into the damping. This almost seems like something that should be in adjust velocity.
Yeah. Wonder why.
Another important property of water is that things tend to float in it. So let's add a configurable buoyancy value to our sphere with a minimum of 0 and a default of 1. The idea is that something with 0 buoyancy sinks like a rock, only being slowed down by water drag. An object with a buoyancy of 1 is in equilibrium, negating gravity entirely, and something with a buoyancy greater than 1 floats to the surface. A buoyancy of 2 would mean that it rises as fast as it would normally fall. But a buoyancy of 10, then you get launched out of the water. See, that was when I was trying to figure out water by myself. I at first was just like, I'm going to try to see if I can figure it out, and then I went to tutorials and like downloading resources and stuff. And that was my first attempt, was to apply just the force of gravity but upwards if you were in the gravity plane, you know, so that you would just, in my head, you would eventually reach equilibrium and just kind of like float on the surface. But it was just an infinite like up and down, because there's no, like you wouldn't lose any of that friction, you know, like there wasn't any friction or momentum or inertia, like it's just a video game simulation. So like it was just up that force, down that force, up that force, down that force, and it was just an infinite loop of stuff just bouncing in and out of the water, which was kind of funny, but it was just like a dumb idea.
I guess it's this minus, like this minus buoyancy thing that makes a difference.
We implement this in fixed update by checking whether we're not climbing but are in water. What? By checking whether we're not climbing but are in water. If so, apply gravity scale by 1 minus buoyancy, again factoring the submergence.
I think so that you can still climb regularly in the water.
Okay.
So this is like the opposite for you, because you put in water as the top thing. But I think it should be fine if you just change your in water.
Well, it doesn't matter anyways. That's just the light. It's only that logic is only controlling the color of the light.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't make a difference.
Where is this climbing? If climbing.
In fixed update.
Oh.
I added an extra thing. I said if you're also not on the ground, because I was trying to figure out something. Basically, I was trying to figure out like you could climb on a wall even if you're standing. Like if you just walk up to a wall and then just hold C, you'll just go into the climb animation. And I felt like that was kind of dumb. I feel like you should only do that if you're like off the ground, you know?
Yeah.
So I was trying to implement that, but I didn't fully do that. So I hope that doesn't cause any trouble. Okay, so if you're in the water, velocity equals gravity times the buoyancy times the submergence minus 1 times delta time. So it just changes what our gravitational force is. Note that in reality the upward force increases with depth, while in our case it remains constant. Okay, well let's just test this a little bit. I want to see what this looks like. So my bet is that the character is going to just be falling in the air, but well, maybe, I don't know, we'll see.
Oh, with one, this is weird. With one, it treats it as like anti-gravity or something. One seems wrong.
That's not what it does for me. For me, buoyancy of 1 is just like I'm kind of it just slows down my fall a little bit.
What happens when you jump?
I can't really jump. I'm like floating.
That's weird. I wonder if it's because you're taller.
Let me put it back to 1. Okay, so this is at 1 and I jump. See how it slows down my descent a little bit?
Yeah, I think for me it was because I jumped and I was still submerged. Now I'm okay because I have the buoyancy thing.
I'm completely submerged right now. I know her head is poking out, but you can see here the color.
Well, I mean, like like when I jump, I was still underwater. I couldn't jump out of the water.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so now you can't. Wait. Yeah, you still can't jump out of the water unless you have something next to you.
Oh yeah, let me turn my buoyancy back up to 2 and I'll test that. I mean, which is always fixable by putting a ramp, I suppose, but yeah, no, I mean, you can climb though.
Yeah.
This is pretty good though. So I would need to adjust the range and the offset because she's kind of floating. She's floating like from her thighs. I guess how do I change that?
Can you change the offset in player?
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
That's great. So yeah, the offset shouldn't be perfectly in her center then if it's where she's floating from. Because on a ball it makes sense that it would be in the center, but in a person, you know, your floating point is going to be more like at your chest. Either way, I need to make swimming animations. And I bet you we could make... Honestly, you should be able to jump out of the water when you're swimming. Why can't you? Because I know why
Uh,
I can't. Because some... I made
I
some
think
weird
it's
changes.
because I assume it's because it has to do with clear state.
I think
I
I
think we
fucked up the
clear our
stream.
contact normals.
I think I just fucked up Streamlabs.
Oh, really?
Why am I on your screen? It's showing your stream, but I like can't. It's saying that I'm on my screen,
Are
and then I
you
can't toggle between them.
are you in studio mode? Is there like two of them?
No, I
Oh,
think Streamlabs just overall froze. I like
it's still working
the timer isn't
on the
moving.
stream.
Do you hear me complaining about the problem? Like, is it still,
Oh, let me see.
or is it about to drop out?
Yeah, you just said, "Do you hear me complaining about the problem?"
Okay, well, I can't switch my scenes anymore, so it's stuck on your scene, but that's fine. We're almost done anyways.
Weird.
It doesn't really matter right now.
Yeah, I think we're at the end, or we're at swimming.
Oh, weird.
I
Why
guess
am
this
I...
last thing is just he says uh, the only case where buoyancy appears to fail is if the sphere ends up too close to the bottom. That is true. That's how I had it. In this case, ground snapping activated, counteracting buoyancy.
Is
We
that why
can
your
avoid that.
jumping wasn't working?
I think so.
Because, like, I think your water jump should work for
Here,
you.
I'll replicate it with no or with one buoyancy.
Look at this. I got hot lava mode on. Ow, whoa, 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 whoa. Ow, whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh,
Ow,
nice.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Uh, what was I gonna check? Oh, one.
Water
Buoyancy
jumping.
should be buoyancy should be one. With buoyancy one, I go to the bottom and then I can jump once, but then I don't. My state gets reset, so I can move around fine. Because there's a force holding me down, and then there's a force pushing me up. Oh, you know what? What is your gravity source set to?
It's a gravity plane.
Yeah, what's it set to?
Oh, what do you mean?
Because
It's
mine's
just
double
regular gravity.
gravity.
Oh, mine's just normal gravity.
Mine was double because of that corner thing. I bet that has to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. It's multiplying it.
Okay, I think my Streamlabs fixed itself.
Yeah, that makes the difference. I don't have a jump, but I don't go to the ground anymore. I think I'm slowly floating to the top. Or no. At one, doesn't it make it so that you don't float to the top?
Yeah, 1 should make it so that it just kind of slows your descent. 2 should
Yeah.
be floating at the top. 1.5 should be like really slow descent. And then anything above 2 is going to be like expelling you out of the water.
Okay. Well, then I think we're at where we want to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is the point where I would start implementing swimming animations, I think. So I would have like a
Yeah.
swim idle. Oh shit, look at this. Oh god, what is happening? Oh no.
Did you do that uh last fix?
Yeah, it's considering me fully submerged right now, even though I'm barely touching it. Is that the ground snapping thing, you think?
What does green mean?
In the air?
Oh,
I changed it recently, but yeah. Green just
I
means in the
don't.
air, red means on the ground, blue means in water.
Why was it treating you as
Yeah, what the fuck? It just like, wait,
jump?
something just like completely
Can
broke. Oh,
can you
it's,
jump?
I think it's because I changed my range.
Oh,
Damn, wait, yeah, it is because I changed my range.
that was
Shit.
the thing he said when you come out of the water, there was a problem, and he fixed it by changing the range.
Well, I need to have my range at a weird number so that she doesn't float from her thighs, though. Or is it the offset that I change?
Offset. The range detects how far away the water is.
And then the offset is at what point is like your center?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, let's see. Well, like, look at this. Like, what the fuck?
She's in air now, right?
Well, she's swimming.
What happens when you go up the ramp, though? There was a second. Yeah. Maybe you have to bring the range higher. Like, because we add one to it, but one is the offset.
Oh, I just realized that I fixed the range thing in play mode, so it undid my
Oh,
fix.
classic.
There we go. I should probably still do his fix though, but yeah. And I should also make the swimming animations only play if like submergence is at least 50% or something like that, or like seventy
Doesn't that have,
percent.
uh, yeah, actually, you're right.
So now I got to make the offset a little bit lower. Try like 2 maybe. Maybe 2.5, 2.3. Yeah, that looks good. So let's try that. Debug that a little bit. But yeah, we're basically done here. I'm just doing a couple little tweaks. She's taking a while to get like at the right level here. Because she's just like slowly rising up. That's bizarre. See, she like spends a little bit of time. There we go. And then she goes to like the normal level. It's weird. I don't know why it's set up like that. If I go in from there, it works. But if I walk all the way down and then I start like from the bottom like that, then she like really slowly comes up. Maybe if I make the buoyancy like 2.5. No. I don't know. That's probably something I'm gonna have to just tweak. That might be a capsule thing. We'll see. Let me do that little fix, he said. Note that in reality the upward force increases with depth, while in our case it remains constant once maximum submerge is reached. This is sufficient to create believable buoyancy, except when extremely deep water is in play. The only case where buoyancy appears to fail is if the sphere ends up too close to the bottom. In this case, ground snapping activates, counteracting buoyancy. We can avoid that by boarding snap to ground while we're in water. That may be related. I think that might be what my problem was. That sounds right. Snap to ground. and that's in if step says less grounded, step says less grounded, and or in water. Okay. Now let's pop back to the editor. And we will see. Either way, I'm going to end it after this. I'll just read that last paragraph.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that was it. Very nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So obviously the animations aren't there yet, but I feel like swim animations are going to be kind of weird. I don't like. Do I have to do the
I think
breaststroke or something? I don't know.
maybe look ahead to see if he's got anything that would like signify you're swimming.
Well, that's I could make a boolean that's just like it flips true once submerge is over some threshold, and then use that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was intending to do, but I wouldn't be surprised if he makes that.
You know, can you blend between two animations using a factor?
Yeah.
I feel like you could use submergence because submergence is from 0 to 1. You could use submergence as a blend between a swimming and a standing, right?
Yeah, but that would mean if I'm like this, like where I'm barely.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah, if I'm like barely considering the water, then she's just gonna be like, she's gonna be doing this, like doing a standing animation, just going like, and like just spinning her arms around as if she's like doing a little bit of a swim. That's I do think there's something to that though. Maybe after I'm past that threshold, then do the blend. I don't know. I have to experiment with it. We'll see.
Actually, yeah, if you just do the submergent after, like, once you're considered falling, then use submergence, because then the blend would occur, like, between, halfway and from there to there.
Well, then in this case, what am I blending between here, where I'm just like floating?
Floating and swimming, I guess. I don't know. I don't know anything about animation.
Yeah, I've been kind of diving into that, so I guess I could answer that question a little bit better, but I still am far from proficient at it.
I feel like I could see Cat doing the thing that I see a lot of really smart people do, where they have like animations and then they do like a lot of people I've seen will do animations that are really generic and then use like blends to like combine them, where they'll do like, I don't know, just like arm waves or something and like combine them to make a swim, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'll for now I'm gonna make a very specific animations because I don't know how to do that,
Yeah.
but I would like to
And
get to
that's
that
better,
level.
I think. Though that way of doing things is like mocap based, I feel like, where you get a realistic arm movement and then you can just like take that arm movement and apply it to other stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah, we made it to swimming, the
Yeah.
swimming section within the swimming tutorial, which was our goal. Just not quite halfway, but it's close to there. I wouldn't be surprised if we finish tomorrow. We'll see though, or I mean next jam whenever we do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching. We got water, we got buoyancy, we got a little
yeah,
water
yeah.
plane. So next time we'll get like objects to float in there, and maybe I'll have the animations done by then. Yada yada yada. Thanks for watching. We're gonna go swim in a pool.
Goodbye.